It's why I became a filmmaker. I just was desperate to shed light on the common misconceptions the West has of the Middle East. In my childhood, my parents took my sisters and I on a visit to Cairo. My mother is blonde, and she's an Arab, but her whole family is like blonde and blue-eyed and green-eyed. And I just remember my mother walking ahead of me and all these men just looking at her and saying stuff to her. Cairo made such a huge imprint on me. To make a movie that was a throwback to old classic Hollywood films, reminiscent of the restraint and tensions of Jane Austen, who I studied in university. I just remember flying out to New York to meet Patricia. The second she walked in through the cafe, the restaurant, I just knew that she was Juliet. In Cairo, I just kept catching myself saying, Patricia. Patricia.
Woohoo! Movie maker.
Oh, Alexander, he's like such a gem of a human being. There's something about him that's very old world charm, Alexander in reality. I'd actually written the role for him. Both Patricia and Alexander inhabit the characters and they just go with it. They don't, they don't have to be method about it. They're just actors. They do good old-fashioned acting, which I love.
Action!
Cairo used to be, still is, the Hollywood of the Middle East, so they're very much used to seeing big cameras around. They were so proud of an Arab woman who's Canadian bringing back everybody to shoot this movie. They love Canadians. They always said, Canada dry, Canada dry. They were actually quite good. Like when we would shoot in the crowd, we would set Patricia loose and Alexander loose and we would say, go. We couldn't control those crowd scenes. The movie had to be authentic and the people just made it real.
Action!
It was amazing. Like our extras, we would just pluck people off the street and say, do it. Like the guy in Tarek's coffee house that he's playing chess with, I found him on the street. He laughed and I said, oh my goodness, that guy's it. And I told him what we were doing and he said, I will rise to the occasion for you. And I'm like, I love you.
Actor coming through. What do they say?
They agree things are looking bad for me, okay?
I thought, yes, this is a love story, but I also have to show Cairo, the realities, the good and the bad. And so we found this carpet factory place, and so we walked in and they were, 4, 5, 6-year-olds. I almost punched that carpet factory owner. He was so despicable because we were paying these children because they were in the movie, but we knew he was going to take their money. We were like trying to figure out a way of giving them the money without him seeing it. It was just a nightmare. I was not leaving that factory, carpet factory, without getting that footage. One of our weekends where we would go out into outside of Cairo to get our shots, we had been warned not to go into that part of Egypt. It's very Islamic and it's very religious, and I was like, whatever, I'm going in. And we went in and everybody was in Quran school. As soon as we came in, they all left the school, came out, talked to us. It was actually one of the best days of my life for me and my crew. This family that you see is poor. They don't even have a roof over their heads. It was great for us to sit down and talk to them and mingle with them. And they got us like Cokes and and at one point they were like, do you know Seinfeld? We love Seinfeld. We love watching Seinfeld. And I'm like, this is just crazy. You were just in Quran school. They left religion class to come and talk to us, and they're asking about Seinfeld. the man's wife, she's veiled. She said, I need to be validated. I need to show the world what I look like. And she began to unveil. And I was like, but you're gonna be on camera, like the West will see you. And she said, I don't care. I need to show people that I exist. It was just really important because they saw me as I'm an Arab woman. At the same time, I live in Canada. I've brought everybody back. It was validation to them to still continue to be in school, to continue, to go after their dreams. I told them stories of my father. My father was orphaned at a very young age. He grew up by himself in a mosque. He would draw maps of Canada on his walls in the mosque. My dad had that dream, so if he could pull that off, then they could as well.
Please help me in welcoming, first and foremost, writer, director, the lovely Rubenata. Alexander Ziddig. Alex, come and join us. And we have the lovely and talented Oscar-nominated Patricia Clarkson.
My agent fell in love with the script and said, Patty, this is the script. You're going to love the script. Read it. And I read it, and I called him back and I said, you're right, this is truly one of the most beautiful scripts I've ever read. And the next thing I know, I woke up and I was in Cairo.
It was a relatively easy decision for me to make, to play a gentle guy who I really liked, and then enter Patricia. And that's just plugged it into a socket in the wall and added a bunch of electricity to the whole thing.
Really, every day was an adventure. Every single day in Cairo. And it was one of the most memorable, greatest, glorious, most glorious experiences I've ever had in my life.
I really, as a filmmaker, as an artist, I really believe that every single movie that you do, you have to be desperate and passionate about wanting to make it. And if you're not, then you have no business doing it.